Before the video starts, I just wanted to say if I got any information in this video wrong, tell me in the comments. To be honest, I don't give two shits about chemistry. It was just kind of a fun school assignment, and I wanted to design a character. Also, I spent way more time on this video than I originally intended, so I hope you enjoy it. Have fun. Hey, Pookie Bears! So today I have somewhat of a different video for you guys. So for a little bit of background context, in science we had an assignment where we design a hero or a villain based off an element, and being the fucking art fiend that I am, I went sicko mode on this assignment. I've never even talked to my teacher really, so me actually trying on an assignment in her class is probably scaring her. I don't even think I followed the directions correctly, but I don't really care. I like my character a lot. So let's get into the design of them. A little bit of basic information about my character. The element I chose was bromine because in 8th grade I did a slideshow presentation about the element, and it's my favorite color and element. I also had, it also has super toxic fumes and corrodes human skin, which I think would be perfect for a villain. I also wanted them to be a villain because heroes are boring, and I wanted to make a really angsty backstory because I'm cringe, and I like those types of stories. The character also had to have a real name and an alias. For the real name, I chose Bromine because I am lazy. I could have probably changed it to some French name that sounds or has some kind of relationship to bromine, but I didn't. And for the villain name, I chose the name Coromos. It's based off the word for corrosive in French, corrosif. I don't know any French. And the Greek word for stench, bromos. I do actually quite like the name, but I kind of wish I used the French word Venice. I can't pronounce French, meaning toxic instead of corrosive. Although, to an English-speaking person, I feel like people could mix up venomous, which bromine is not. Anywho, since bromine was discovered in 1826, I think July 3rd, 1826, but that could definitely be wrong. They are 195 years old. They don't look like that because I decided that they're going to look 26, which means they age 1 year about every 7.5 years. I don't think that makes any sense. Probably not at all, but I don't really care. Moving on. Bromine is liquid at room temperature and one of very few elements that is, so I decided that they're going to be gender fluid. I put non-binary on there because I feel like my teacher is not bored. I'm not going to say anything, but whatever. Bromine is orange, so the color of their hair and vapor is orange. They are translucent, bromine is translucent, so if they get hit by anything, like when they're fighting, it will pass through them fairly easily. Since bromine is a halogen, meaning that they have 7 valence electrons on the outside of them, they are very reactive and reacts with metals more, so I decided when they get angered, like extremely easily, and they melt, in quotation marks, or disintegrate bullets and other metals and stuff like that. Bromine is not flammable, but it will enhance the burning of other metals. They avoid fire, I decided for that, and will sometimes pour like themselves on fire to just enhance it so they can escape or ignite it more. They corrode human skin, like I said before, and vapors are toxic when inhaled, so they are very dangerous to be around, and that's why they're super secluded. They are never really found commonly by themselves. They are mostly found in Earth's crust and water with other elements, and some of the compounds that they're most commonly found in are sodium bromide and potassium bromide, which will be mentioned in the story that I'm reading right now. By the way, I totally forgot that I had to turn this in by the end of class, so I had to rush to make this in 15 minutes, so if it's bad, that's why. Anywho, enjoy their little backstory that's cringe and angsty. On July 3rd, 1826, Carl Jacob Loewig and Antoine Jerome Ballard, 2 French scientists, were digging around the coast of France when they found a small child laying on the ground. The child had bright orange hair and newly burned scars on its left eye. The 2 scientists decided to take it home, and on their way home, they noticed how their hands started to burn while holding the child. They also noticed how it started to smell of bleach. Once they got home, Carl noticed how his hands were extremely red and burnt. After healing a little bit, they both decided to name the child bromine after the Greek word bromos for stench. They were both curious as to why bromine made their skin burn and smell bad. They both decided to treat bromine as a normal child up until they reached the age about 5 or 6. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't just something that only happened in their childhood, but after 6, almost 7 years of bromine not aging quickly enough and still looking extremely young and having the same effects on Carl and Antoine, they decided to start experimenting on bromine. The first experiment did not go over well with bromine, causing them to extrude flames out of their head. Although Antoine was cautious around the vapor, Carl decided to ingest it. This caused him to pass out. After calming bromine down and collecting some of their vapor, they decided to come to the conclusion that bromine was extremely toxic and potentially could kill people. Taken over by greed, the two scientists decided to keep experimenting on bromine more and more. This ended up causing bromine to produce more and more vapor and toxic liquid. The scientists would sell it to assassins and murderers. Carl and Antoine made obscene amounts of money. They started to treat bromine as an object. Over years and years of experiments, bromine was enraged and angered all the time. One day, they decided they had enough and fed Carl and Antoine some of their bromine liquid. After a few minutes, both of them ended up dying. As soon as they left and hid in the forest and ocean for years, they ended up meeting sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium also had bad paths, and they all decided to work together in the forest. They also wanted to stop and end all of the people who took bromine's vapor. During this process, they discovered that most people who bought the smoke were extremely rich officials in Paris. Enraged, bromine had an outburst and corroded hundreds of buildings in France. Due to there being no cameras, the people of France called bromine many different names and described them differently. However, the next time bromine attacked France, cameras were invented, and after much consideration over their villain name with sodium and potassium, bromine decided to declare their name as Coromos. Ever since that day, people fear Coromos, although they never leave their house on the coast. Now, they are known for killing corrupt business people and officials in France. The end. I don't know. I know that made no sense and probably is cringe and bad, but I thought it was kind of fun. I'm just going to read off their little character information sheet for the rest of the video. So their name is Bromine. Their birthday is July 3rd, 1826. Their pronouns are they, them. Gender is non-binary or gender fluid. Their zodiac sign is Cancer. Personality type is ISTP. Their height is 5'11", and they weigh 179 pounds. Some other information about them is Coromos often works with other villains like sodium and potassium. If bromine works alone, they often become flustered and emotional, leaving them to become even more dangerous. If this happens, they often leave the fight in order not to cause more damage than needed/wanted. Bromine lives on the west coast of France, facing the Atlantic Sea. And since they were born in 1826 and don't go out in public often in order not to draw attention to themselves and corrode human skin when in contact with other people, their speech patterns are very old-timey and strange. However, sodium and potassium try to teach them new language terms. The burn marks and scars on bromine skin are both from fighting and self-inflicted attempts to learn how corrosive their powers are. If they become too hot-headed or emotional, which happens quite often, they will go out into the sea to hide underneath the ground because that's where they were found and it is nostalgic for them. Jesus Christ. Sorry if you heard my cat jumping off my lap. That was painful. I can't read for shit. I'm horrible at talking. But yeah, that was interesting. Anywho, let me know if you would be interested in me drawing sodium and potassium, because they were mentioned a lot. Also, I don't know. Tell me what you think of bromine, because I'm in love with them. I want to marry them. They're just so fucking cool. Anywho, thank you for watching. I know this is kind of a weird video. I just kind of wanted to put everything into one video about my character. If you want me to make more character design videos about different OCs or anything, please let me know. Go follow my other social media if you like. Full picture will be posted on Instagram. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Please drink some water. Take care of yourself. Simp over bromine like me. And yeah, I love you. Bye, Pookie Bears.